Hello and welcome to High Point Music's Tone Zone. Today I'm going to show you how to use a reverb pedal to add some texture, depth and space to your guitar sound, be it a clean sound, a distorted sound, or any other effect you might be using. So today the two pedals that I'm using are a Valbrush Pipeline Spring Reverb pedal. It's a great little compact pedal for some reverb sounds, and to emphasize the effect that the reverb has, I'm also running a fuzz pedal. The idea of this is that when I turn that fuzz pedal on, it's a very abrasive and abrupt sound, and you'll be able to very easily hear the effect that the reverb has when it softens that fuzz guitar signal. Any fuzz pedal will of course work: distortion, overdrive, or even delay pedals, tremolo pedals, modulation pedals. You will be able to hear those differences, but this will be very obvious and very easy to do. I am of course playing my Fender Stratocaster through the pedals into our 2-notes clean that sounds like this. And just so you know, when we do normally record these videos and gear reviews, I don't use reverb on anything, and I don't use reverb on anything for the reasons that I'm going to talk about being positive in today's little rundown. So reverb typically has two controls. There'll be a volume control and a reverb control. They may have other controls on a pedal, and on an amplifier, which most amps usually have a reverb function built in, they will have just a reverb knob, and that knob usually controls the amount of reverb that is blended into your guitar signal. So to show you what that sounds like quickly, we start with nothing. You can hear it there. And more. And then one at max. And you can hear the decay of that reverb occurring. Spring reverb is usually built into an amplifier, and it's emulating the sound of actual springs in your amp vibrating in unison with the guitar. The idea being that it sounds as though your microphone or your ears are a lot further away from your amp than they actually are. I'll set that back to about half. I'm using the longest spring setting on the pedal at the moment just because it's most obvious. When you switch it on and off, you can go from a sound like this. Turn that up a little more and make it obvious. And it's very obvious to hear what the reverb is doing. So you can get some really subtle sounds. It's very, very light. A little more. Getting to the point where it's kind of obvious. Where you set it is going to be personal taste, and it'll depend on the other pedals that you're using. The other thing is, if you're playing long sustained guitar parts, the reverb will be a little bit harder to hear. But when you do play short staccato parts and stop playing, you will very easily hear the reverb like I did in that riff. So the next step is to show you what it does to a fuzz pedal. I'm using a Frommel fuzz today, which is a bit of a weird fuzz pedal. You might not see too many of them around, but it sounds like this. And when we turn that reverb on, make that a little more obvious. You can hear it really adds a lot of space to that sound. So by having the reverb after the pedal, you're going to make it sound most like a traditional amplifier. But when you do play a sustained chord, it's a very subtle approach, and that decay when it comes in will add some texture and depth. Without the fuzz. So that's the basic rundown on using reverb. Like I said, most amplifiers will have a reverb effect built into them. If they don't, you can very easily purchase a reverb pedal like this one, or like the Boss RV series reverbs that I used in the Metallica video. They're pretty simple to use. You kind of can't go wrong. Experimentation is always the key. I'll put some links into the video below and the blog on what I recommend for a reverb pedal if your amp doesn't have one, or if you just want something that sounds a bit different to your amp sound. And that way you can go out there and make those guitar sounds for yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to stay up to date with us on our social media. Give us a like, a share, a subscribe, or leave a comment if you've got any questions or suggestions for things you'd like to see us doing in the future. Don't forget to check out the blog that I mentioned. There's a lot of great information there. And of course, I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.